Hi, welcome to my video on graphing the cosine curve using the mapping rule. Graph each using the mapping rule for y equals cos theta. Well, first of all, let's just do a little review here. And let's draw the unit circle. Unit circle has the point of 1, 0, 0, 1, negative 1, 0, 0, negative 1. And even though I have a y here, cos is the x. So if you think about it, the x at 0 degrees is 1, the x at 90 is 0, the x at 180 is negative 1, the x at 270 is 0, and the x at 360 is 1. So just keep that in mind. Cos is the x, sine is the y. Now before we start, let's do the mapping rule. So we got theta and y. So right here we have, that's a 1, so we have 1 times theta, which is theta. Opposite of a minus 90 is a plus 90. So really, the opposite, the graph is shifted 90 degrees to the right. And the y value is 2 times y plus 3. So 2y plus 3. And so we look at y equals cos theta. So we got 0, 90, 180, 270. Whoops, I'm going to write 180 there, 360. So this is the theta, and this is cos theta, or the y. So again, 0 is a 1, 90 is a 0, 180 is negative 1, 270 is 0, and 360 is a 1. So we got 1, 0, negative 1, 0, 1. So we use the mapping rule. So theta is mapped to theta minus 90. And this is the y, and the y is mapped to 2y plus 3. So if we plug let's plug all the degrees in. Plug a 0 in here, and 0 plus 90 is 90. Plug a 90 in, 90 plus 90 is 180. 180 plus 90 is 270. 270 plus 90 is 360. And 360 plus 90 is 450. And notice the pattern, it's going up by 90. Now, let's plug the 1 in. Y is 1, right here. Let's plug the 1 in. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 3 is 5. So, if that's a 1 is 5, this one is also 5. Now let's plug a 0 in. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. So we got 0 here and a 0 here, so we get 3. Let's plug a negative 1 in. 2 times negative 1, negative 2, plus 3 is 1. So let's graph this table of values which represents this curve. So 90, so that's 360, that's 180. So there's 90 and 270, and that's 450. So 90 gives me a 5. 5 is right up here. 180 gives me a 3. 180 gives me a 3. So 1, 2, 3. 270 is a 1. So 270 is a 1. 360 is going back up again to 3. And 450 is a 5. Right on up. 450 goes on up to 5 right here. So this is the cos curve is a sideways C, so it's curve looks, again, this is freehand, so and it goes up, and as it hits here, then it just bends and comes down again, and this bends and comes down. So notice we have a sideways C, and the period of this goes from 90, so the period is from 450 minus 90, which is 360 degrees. The period from here to here is 360 degrees. And notice the cos starts at the max and goes down, which is the opposite of sines. When sine is positive, it starts at the sinusoidal on the sinusoidal axis and goes up. But cos is positive, it goes down. Opposite. Sine goes up, positive. Cos goes down, positive. And the cos starts at the max or min, whereas the sine graph starts on the sinusoidal. Now we have another one to do. Y equals negative 3 cos a half theta plus pi minus 1. Notice that this is in terms of radians. So the mapping rule is theta and y. And the x, the reciprocal of a half is 2 theta. And opposite of negative pi, opposite of positive pi is negative pi. And the y is negative 3 y minus 1. So that's in terms of the radians. But if we want, some people get confused. What we could do is work it out in terms of degrees. And degrees might be easier, and then we can convert, but whatever way you want to do it. If you want to do degrees, then it's 2 theta minus, pi is 180, so that's negative 180. And negative 3y minus 1. So if we want to do it in degrees, we got theta and y in degrees. This is y equals cos theta, 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, 360. And cos, as we got to memorize, at 0 cos is 1, then it goes to 0, negative 1, 0, 1. And if you use degrees, this is 2 theta minus 180, and this is negative 3 pi minus negative 3y minus 1. So if you put 0 in here, we get a negative 180. If you put 90 in here, we get 180 minus 180, which is a 0. If you put 180 here, 2 times 180 is 360 minus 180 is 180. And notice now it's going up by 180, so I can add 180 on here is 360. Add 180 on, I get 540. Or if you plug negative 1 in, 180 in, you get 360 minus 180 is 180. 270 times 2 is 540 minus 180 is 360. 360 plugged in gives you 720 minus 180 is 540. But the pattern is going up by 180 each time. That's quicker to do. Now let's plug the 1 in. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3 minus 1 is a negative 4. So 1 is negative 4, 1 is negative 4. Plug 0 in. Negative 3 times 0 is 0, minus 1 is a minus 1. So 0 is a minus 1. So you do the top, you also got the bottom done. Now let's plug negative 1 in. Negative 3 times negative 1 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. So if you're using degrees, this is the mapping rule. I wrote it up here, but let's put it right here. Okay, there it is. Now, I can take the degrees and convert them to radians, or I could work it out in terms of radians. So if I do radians, I can just convert here. So this would be 2 theta minus pi, negative 3y minus 1. So if I do radians, I'm going to plug a 0 radian in. So, or I can convert negative 180 is negative pi. Nope, I can go more radians out. 0 radians is 0, 180 is pi, 360 is 2 pi, and 540 is, so 180 is 2 pi, 540 is 3 pi. And I got a negative 4, negative 1, 2, negative 1, 4. In terms of radians, again, it is the same as what I have right here. So you can do it in radians only, or you can do it in degrees. But because there's radians, then this graph has to be radians. And if you do it in radians, from the basic y equals cos theta, we got 0 radian, and 90 is pi over 2, 180 is pi, and that's 0, 90, 180, 270 is 390, so it's 3 pi over 2, and 360 is 2 pi. So if we do it in terms of radians, if you plug these into this expression here, you will come up with these numbers. And again, that's -4, -1, 2, -1. So you can do it in degrees, work it out in here in degrees, and then convert, or you can plug your radians in, and then plug the radians into here, and plug your 1, etc., etc. Oh, there's a little mistake here. That's a 1, that's a 0, and that's a -1, that's a 0. I was putting in the numbers that I had. Sorry about that. So what you have to do from the basic is that in terms of a radian, 0 radian is 1, and pi over 2 is 90, so that's a 0. So I was putting in these numbers here. That's right, wrong. I have to put in the basic. So at pi over 2 is 90, you get a 0. At pi is 180, you get a -1. At 3 pi over 2 is 270, you get 0. So when you plug these numbers into this expression, you come up with these. So let's graph that. We got a -pi, so this is 2 pi. So this is pi. And we go over here. This is pi over 2. This is 3 pi over 2. This is the -pi over 2, -90. This is -pi, bit of a draw, right? So we got a -pi, it gives me -4. So -pi is 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. And 0 is -1. 0 is -1 right here. And pi is 180, which is 2. So, and 2 pi over 2 is -1. So we're down back to -1. And that's pi, 2 pi. This is 3 pi. And this is 5 pi over 2. If you think about it, that's 360 add on 90, you get 5 pi over 2. So again, pi, -pi, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi. And 3 pi is, I didn't write my -4 in because it keeps coming down. So 3 pi is -4. So again, this curve, because it's a cos curve, is a sideways C. There it is. Comes down and then it goes back up again. Comes down here, goes back up again. The cos curve is a sideways C. And the period is 3 pi minus a -pi. So it's 3 pi plus pi. So the period is 4 pi. Or as you can see here, the period is 4 pi is 720 in degrees. But again, it's in radians, so the graph is in radians, and you can change all these degrees and it would be the same thing. Sorry about that little mistake right here. I forgot to look at the unit in terms of rate. But when I was learning this first, I worked it out in terms of degrees, and then I converted all my degrees to radians, and then I graphed it. I didn't do this. I was doing degrees first and then converting, and that made it a little bit easier when I was learning it first. So that's graphing the cos theta using the mapping rule. And if you like my video, click the like button. If you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video helped you. Bye-bye.